I don't think it's really a secret that I'm a big fan of the Icebug brand and the Icebug shoe. Recently, Icebug have made a really big splash in the obstacle course world. They have sponsored a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of people. They've worked with Obstacle Course World Championship, and of course, for longer than those, they've been part of Shale Hill, and Shale Hill have been an Icebug vendor, which is where I first got exposed to the brand and the shoe. And I've got a few pairs of Icebugs that I've bought over the years, and my wife has as well. But really, one thing that Icebug has never brought out has been an obstacle course specific shoe. They changed that this year. They brought out 2 obstacle course specific shoes. One is the Accelerator, which is actually an old shoe, or last year's shoe, that they did in a limited color scheme for obstacle course racing. It was one of the more popular obstacle course shoes. And then they did a dedicated OCR shoe, one called the Zeal. And that's what I've got here today. So this is a brand new pair of Zeals straight from Icebug to check out. I haven't worn these, I haven't opened the box yet. So this is going to be an unboxing of the new Icebug Zeal. So the box is the same as any other Icebug box out there. Any pair of Icebugs that you've got. We have on the side, this is the Zeal, and this is the OLX. We'll talk more about the OLX in a minute. This is the version that has the studs. And I have it in a US men's 12. So let's crack it open. Typical Icebug literature. And then the shoes themselves. I've already seen these shoes at Shale Hill. Icebug were vending at the Polar Bear Challenge and we were able to check them out. So I've already seen the shoe, but I'm going to get them out and look them over as well. So 2 shoes. So first of all, if you've seen these online, they look the same whether you have the studded version or the RB9 or RBX9 version, which doesn't have the metal studs on the sole. They're hideous, the colour. There's no escaping that. I don't know what it is. The Reeboks I checked out recently as well were pretty hideous. But that is what it is. They're going to stand out. They're going to look how they look. Let's pull the stuff out of here. So the first thing is, of course, they're very light. These are not heavy shoes. So when you talk about having metal studs and a heavy sole, everybody thinks, oh my god, they're going to be really, really heavy. They're really not. There's no weight to these at all. They're a really good lightweight sneaker. Of course, the other thing to keep in mind is they have this really weird midsole here, this really tall side panel. So this is protection from rocks. This is protection from rope burn and rope tearing. I've wrecked more than a few pairs of Innovates with the foam that they have down here ripping out. So this is going to be, I hope, pretty good protection. The fabric, the upper that it's made out of, I've already read reviews that this is a little stiff initially. It takes a while to break in and to loosen up. And it certainly feels a little stiff on the side there. So that's going to take a little while to get used to. This fabric that they use, they make quite a big deal out of. This is non-absorbent. So that means if you're standing in a puddle or if you're running through a stream or through a muddy field, this isn't going to soak up the mud. It also isn't very porous. It doesn't drain very well. And this is something that Icebug has struggled with, I think, from day one, is the shoes themselves don't take on water. They don't soak water in. Water's not going to get in the shoe anywhere other than through the head. But once you've got them submerged, once they're full, the only place they've got to go out is back through the top. Or in this case, it could actually come out through the lacing. Some of the laces are sealed, these are not. So I've not had too many issues with that. I don't find it a big problem. Some people do resort to drilling tiny holes in the sole just to give drainage. I don't know that I'll do that yet. I'll try them out first. So there's 2 versions of this Icebug Zeal. One of which is the RBX, or the RB9X, that's the rubber tread, and this is the OLX. So these are the Icebugs I tend to wear. I guess they're controversial. Some people, for some reason, think these destroy obstacles. They think that They hurt people. I've been wearing studded Icebugs for a couple of years now, and no one's complained. I haven't destroyed anything. I have a wall in my backyard I practice on a lot, and they don't. I mean, they're not cleats, they're not spikes, they're not sharp. I mean, you can push on them, and they're just tiny little tips, and they grip into the wood really nicely. They grip into rope really nicely. If you're climbing over a wet log, they'll grip it. And the one thing I really like about the Zeals, some of my other Icebug studded shoes have quite close tread patterns. These are very open. I have an older pair of Icebugs called the Spider OLX, which I really like, but it was too narrow for me. The fit on them is reported to be wider than the Spider model that I have, or had. I gave them away. So hopefully they fit me a little better with my wide feet. They're also supposed to be quite comfortable. So I'm not going to go on and on and on. I mean, they are what they are. I'm gonna try them out this weekend. We have Fit Challenge coming up. I'm going to do an update. I'm looking forward to seeing how this 3-tread pattern here works for rope obstacles, and see how they drain. And of course, after this, I'm going to put them on and see how they fit. And then next week, I'll probably do an update. So there you go. It's the Icebug Zeal OLX.